Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Tina and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as always, we can't talk about yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea. And today this is my loose tea blend, which is named Nijmegen. So it's like a lovely classic black tea blend with a flavor of pineapple. So dried pineapple, raisins, cornflower petals, dried cornflower petals, and a few other things, but absolutely great taste, light, comfy tea, yet fresh, good all year round. So a few things have happened since last yarn talk video. I finally had the time to be live, which were Wednesday. I finished the hat. Yay! One more knit hat finished. And I progressed pretty much on all my ongoing WIPs, with the exception of those that's currently permanently put on hold. So yeah, good news, I would say. So let's start with my finished item, which is this lovely knit hat. And I actually did add a pom-pom to this one. Ta-ta. I think it is a good solid match. The only thing is, so I did the same 2 knit 2 purls as I've done with all my other hats basically. I did double strand this yarn, so I held the yarns that I used for the 2 hats that I finished last week. I had very little left off, so I double held that with a leftover I had of some recycled acrylic. Due to holding those together, I went from a needle size 5 to a size 9mm, so 9mm needles, circular ones. I did 80 stitches in the round, so, and then 2 knit 2 purl all the way around. And then I basically went all the way to the end of the green merled yarn. Unfortunately, it wasn't long enough to make the hat long enough for a real foldable brim, but lengthwise it's just making it for my head, but it would be a perfect fit for a small sized head. And I think it looks really nice with this pom-pom, and it's quite nicely settled on it. And the color of this pom-pom, you can see it goes through here and there where there's about darker colors of that merled yarn. So I think this is a really, really nice end solution. I'm pleased. On the inside, of course, I did sew on a button, so I was able to do this with elastic hoop. There's a small elastic hoop on this pom-pom, so you can take it off should you want to wash your beanie. So we're pretty happy, I would say. I find it was more successful than expected. I only had wished I would have had enough yarn by double stranding it, that I would have been able to make it long enough to be able to have the foldable brim model. That didn't work out. That said, I do still think the edge here is pretty neat. So yeah, there's that. So that works out still. Then, since last week, I did for once actually have time to work on Fleur. I didn't do a lot on Fleur in the sense of I didn't do many rounds, but I finished the current round that I was working on, which means that I finished round 83, if I calculated this correct. I do believe it was round 83, but I will make sure to update the correct round in the description box down below should you be in doubt. I'm using a 4mm crochet hook for Fleur, and it is made in the Stylecraft Special DK yarns, which is 100% premium acrylic yarn. We'll talk a bit about that yarn later. I'm just going to show you guys how Fleur is now looking with 83 rounds complete. And it's this mosaic blanket that I am working on. I'm not sure if you can see it all. It's pretty close that you can see it all. Yeah, I think we are, though, as you know, getting so big slowly that I'm having a difficult time to show it all, so you might just see half sizes. And of course, once the finished version is complete, I will ensure to at least post a good photo for you guys to see. But definitely, this is working up nicely, and this project, Fleur, this is just something for me. I like it, and you know, that is why I'm making it. I do cake up the yarns because they come in skeins, but I do cake them up because it is easier to work with, because I put them on a yarn spindle, and the yarn spindles nicely turns around as I'm crocheting along. And as I promised, we are to talk about yarns. The Stylecraft Special DK here, which is the next color that I will be adding. Currently, the background color there is a plum. The front color, which is all the cream going through, and then the plum. And then there is this one, which is Emperor, that will be the next color. But there will be a few rounds to go before adding this. Basically, the designer, Anke Wintermans, has calculated it so nicely that she knows exactly how many skeins you need and how many rounds you can go with that yarn, without needing to to get extra skeins. So far it's worked out really nicely. I have a few leftovers left here and there, and those leftovers I'll do something with towards the very end, not related to the blanket. But Emperor here is the next one, and as I said, it's 100 gram skeins, so that's 3.5 ounces to 195 meters, so about 322 yards, premium acrylic. So that's kind of like anti-pill concept. Quite lovely yarn to work with, come in an assortment of colors. So yeah, that's Stylecraft. It's a bit like Scheepjes, Color Crafter. I even think they might be the same, but don't tell anyone. Actually, I have never held them next to one another, but they are extremely similar, I would say, if they're not the same. But yeah, so that is the next color, but I don't know when that will happen. What I do know is next week I won't be around for the weekly yarn talk video, because next week Friday I will be in Denmark, being with the family, helping out as how I can, and that means that I'm not sure if until my next yarn talk video if I will actually have time to work a lot on Fleur. Maybe I can get a little work done, but I can't promise too much. I did have this goal. I should try to do half an hour, at least when I was home, daily. And I will see if I somehow maybe can still squeeze that out. I was on average pretty close, I think, this week so far. But yeah, I'm traveling Wednesday morning, so technically I only have like 4 days, which is like what, maybe 1.5, 2 hours of work I can find. But do I really physically have time for it? Because, you know, I need to sit down. It requires some space to do it. So maybe, but no promises this time around. It's just reality. Let's be realistic. The next project I'm working on is the Sunshine Shopper Bag, which is a bit of like a market bag style of a project. It is crocheted up in the Paris Recycled Denim from DROPS. So this is how the yarn looks in that full skein. 100% cotton, 100% recycled denim actually. The yarn is made here in the EU. It's a colorway 102. They say it's 1.75 ounces, so 50 gram skeins to 75 meters, or about 82 yards. They recommend a 5mm hook, but the pattern goes for 4mm. That's what I've done. The pattern also goes for the regular Paris yarns, so the non-recycled cotton. And intentionally I chose this because I thought it was a nice idea to actually use a recycled cotton for this bag. And I just need to make sure I don't go all crazy. This is the current project process I've made. It is a bit difficult to see because if I hold it up like normal, it's kind kind of funky. So I am trying my best, but this is the bottom. I absolutely adore how this looks. It gives such a nice view, I think. So that is the bottom piece of this, and I am about halfway lengthwise, maybe a bit more than halfway. It's getting close to the height, and once that's done, we will start adding more like it's gonna be closed in, and so some more solid double crochets around, and then 2 straps on it. Sunshine shopper bag. I've linked to the pattern description box down below. It is a free pattern, and so far I think it's okay to work out. You do need to be able to read charts to be able to do this pattern, because that is how they do their patterns at Drops. I think so far it's been pretty simple, and I'm still progressing on this one. So that would be really nice if I can finish this one up for next yarn talk video. But to do that, I'll probably need to finish it before going to Denmark, because I actually wasn't thinking of bringing this with me. I could, but that wasn't my initial thought. I may see if I can do that this weekend, but it depends. It depends on the mood and everything else going on, obviously. But that would be really nice if I can actually manage to finish up this. Then I started a new project, and I started this project. When did I start it? Monday, maybe? I think I have started it on Monday. Yeah, I started it Monday. Not that we've done a lot, but I started on the PuErhTea Shawl by a Red Teapot Atelier. Ines makes these absolutely gorgeous designs, and here's one. The yarn I'm using, it's a Stenli Mini Lux cake. I'm trying not to squeeze this one too much because I'm center pulling. I don't want the yarn to cave in, but right now I've not used so much from it, so it's kind of holding itself. This yarn, as you can see, has this awesome glitter to it. It is 90% acrylic, 10% Lurex, 250 grams, so 8.8 ounces to 1,000 meters or 1,093 yards. It's a colorway 1252 for those that's curious, from Stenli in Bulgaria, or Stenli Yarns. They recommend a 3 to 4.5 millimeter crochet hook. Lay flat to dry, can be washed at 30 degrees Celsius or 85 degrees Fahrenheit, can be ironed and low, can be dry cleaned, do not tongue dry, do not bleach. I am using an F hook, so a 3.75 millimeter hook. Oops, I was wondering maybe if I should have used the 4 millimeter, but I still think it works up nicely. It will definitely get a little bit more loosened once I block it. It's obviously not blocked. The PuErhTea Shawl makes so far a quite gorgeous, intricate one. You saw it also on the thumbnail for this video. This is how far we have gotten so far. The PuErhTea. Maybe I could also do like this. Get this nice white background. So far, nice. There are some puff stitches, but it's very little. I had like 4 so far in total. I do believe I'll have a few more. But I like how it's turning out so far, and I will definitely look forward to the blocking to see how that makes up for it all. So yeah, I'm surprised somehow that the yarn here feels a bit thicker than I thought it was once on the hook, because I did start with a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and I did upsize it intentionally because it felt The two first rows, I was like, okay, this is gonna be like stiff, I like feeling. And it's definitely better with the 3.75. Again, that's with my tension and everything like that. It could be if I do a future project with a Muffin Mini Lux that I may have to option to try out the 4mm. But too many projects using the same crochet hook size is inconvenient for me. It works. And I'm looking for it for this finished. But that, my friends, I can almost guarantee you will first be in June, because I am not bringing this project with me to Denmark either. I am going to find something new. Something that it's easy to bring with me and doesn't require an awful lot, is the plans so far. So what are my plans? One may ask. Some of them are just down here. I found a bag and I put some stuff in it. It's almost gonna feel like yarn haul. And that sounds like I didn't want to bring a lot, but I might start on something before going and so on. But this is just to talk about what we're gonna start on before, probably either we have some things finished or we started on some things before next yarn talk video. So I think it's fair to go through it. I'm just sort of trying to unbox it a bit, if that makes any sense. Like that. That's okay. So what do I want to do? I have two things I want to do. I do have one project, which is a project that's kind of been postponed too many times. It is, and it's not been postponed as such. It's just, I had a few other things needed done first, right? I want to make another Gaby bucket hat, which I've made countless of so far. Fair. But what I want to do is the Dutch colored inspired one. I already made one, but this is a different version of it. I'm going to have a starting top here. It's going to be orange. The brim is going to be orange, but the center is going to have the Dutch coloration, which is the red, white, blue. So this is orange. And then we're going to have a stripe, red, white, blue. So basically, it's gonna be a little bit like, I don't know if it's possible like this, but you know, along those lines. That is the idea. I should have enough yarn to do that. I will definitely have more than enough yarns of these. So I will have some leftovers once that's done. Some scraps for other bucket hats maybe. I should have enough orange as well. I did use a little bit of one of the oranges. Very little. This one is open. This one isn't. And that was for my chicken that I recreated, my first amigurumi chicken that I ever made. I should have enough yarn to do that. So that is one project, and that's a project that's reasonably quickly made, and therefore it's not enough if I'm gonna be away, because you know, if I'll wait for an hour here or there, you know, it's just a couple of hours work basically. Of course, I'm gonna do other things when I'm there too. So the Gaby bucket hat is designed by a Denimate. You can get the pattern either on Hobby or on Ravelry. Then the other one I want to make is the Krøllebølle hat. The Krøllebølle hat is also a bucket hat. It has some granny squares, yet it is solid on top. So the crown is solid and the brim is solid. And I do believe either single or double or half double crochets, where it's like granny squared around. And I'm gonna use a 3-tone colorway for that as well, which is these. And I realized we actually didn't talk about the other yarns, because this is the Linda Hobby Cotton 8/8 yarn. So that's an 8/8 cotton, thickness wise, like DK weight, I guess. It is 100% cotton. It's a nice soft cotton actually. 50 grams, so 1.75 ounces to 80 to 85 meters, or around 87 to 92 yards, so like 90-ish yards. Can be washed at 60 degrees, which is like, no idea how much that is. 40 is 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Lay flat to dry, can be ironed. Don't bleach, don't dry clean. Don't tumble dry. And it's the colorway Russo. We have the colorway white, which is this one. I'm quite sure it's just named white. It should be Bianco. And we have the colorway Cobalto. And what is this one then named? It's just named orange. So yeah, that's a nice, and it's a nice soft yarn. I think it would even also be garment friendly, like if you want to make tops or something like that. The DROPS Paris is the other yarn, and that is also quite soft yarn, and it's definitely softer than the recycled denim. As you can see, I also have 3 colors here. I have a lighter one, a medium one, and a darker one. Kind of like these maroon-ish colors. I don't have the names of the colorways right here, because here they just state a dye lot. This is color 58, color 59, and color 60. So that is kind of how they go color-wise. The DROPS Paris is belonging to the DROPS Yarn Group C. So like a 3 weight, I guess. It is 100% cotton. They recommend 5mm needles. 50 grams, so 1.75 ounces to 75 meters or 82 yards. So it is slightly shorter on the gram versus the Linda Hobby 8/8, but it's pretty much an 8/8 cotton. It comes really, really close. And as I said, I want to make the Kodabulla hat out of these. If I calculated correct, I should have enough here to make the colorway I wanted to do. Yeah, I would say I link to that pattern as well in the description box down below. It's designed by, actually, the designer is also named Stine Hågaard Johansen. It's a Danish designer who designed this. And I'm looking forward to test out her pattern, basically. So that is another project that I will be having on my hooks soon. Then we have one more, we actually have a few more yarns here, but that's related to knitting. Wednesday, I was live, and it was wonderful to hang out with you guys, at least those that were and said hello in my live. I really appreciate you being there, and I'm still thanking you for being there as of now, and I'm thanking to everybody who's still watching as of now. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. But I did get a few new tools because I am slowly wanting to go into a little bit more advanced knitting. So right now we just knit on purl, which is fine. And you know, it does make gorgeous pieces, but I need to explore my comfort zone if I want to do more knitting on a future mind basis. And I think it is good to know how to knit. Definitely not a bad thing. I do know if you do want to do a little bit more complicated knitting, it is good to have some tools. So what I did when I kind of like decided it is time to slowly explore options is that I went on and I got myself some accessories, some knitting accessories. I paid for these 9 tools, I paid like, I think it was 3 or 4 euros. It was a pretty limited amount. So I got some stitch holders, I would say, for increases, decreases, opening sleeves, gaps, etc. Good start. Then I have like, I'll call this a fishing hook. Not really sure yet how to use it, but I will learn. It's probably related to, some of these are related to cables, I know. I have a smaller sized one as well, a bit more V, but it's a thinner one. Then we have this one, or this one, which I definitely would say is related to cables, or we have them more like this style. So I have tools, which is awesome. I have tools to help me explore cabling and explore the new worlds of knitting patterns. And I am definitely going on an exploration, but I will start slowly and lightly. So the first project, I asked you guys if you had any good suggestion for patterns that I should try out. And I was suggested, and I do believe it was Susan, she suggested me to try out the banket beanie. And the banket beanie is designed by, sorry, I'm just looking here because I don't know the designer yet, Susie Goulet. So it's designed by Susie Goulet. What I was told is it was a really nice, only knit and purl beanie. But it's like a ripped bottom and a bit more flat beanie top. It is using a worsted weight yarn. She's using a 4.5mm needles for that. And the real question is, what yarn should I use for it? They say 70 to 200 yards is required to make it, and I will have to see if the yarn I found will work out for it, but I'll just have to try. If I look on the weight versus length of the yarn compared to the yarn she used, I think I have the right yarn, but when I read on the label of the yarn, I'm not completely sure, but we will see. The yarn I want to try to use for this beanie is the Dream. And Dream is a Seaman yarn, and I got that Seaman last autumn, I think. It's just been laying in my stash, waiting for me to use it for something nice. Seaman, this is a colorway 60. It's 100 grams, so 3.5 ounce skein to 190 meters. So that's like 200 and close to 20 yards, 215 yards maybe. It's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It is a slightly bit, it's a slightly bit like, you can see this wool in it, but it's not that thick compared to some other yarns. So that is why, if I compare this yarn to like, there is this standard acrylic yarn, if I compare those together, this yarn is about the same thickness. It's not much difference, but the acrylic says recommending 4mm needles. This one says 7 to 8. I can't believe it. It's not that thick. So I'm choosing to say this is wrong, and I'm gonna try it with a 4.5mm or 5mm needles and go for the pattern. I am probably a slight tighter knitter as well, I think, because I do have a tight tension for crochet. I wouldn't be surprised if it's also a bit tight for knitting. It's definitely been tight when I'm closing off. So I think going up half a size is still gonna be fine. And then I'm gonna try out this one. Bringing my knitting set with me, my circular needles, which are some pretty cheap needles that we got from who knows where. I inherited them, but just to compare, I actually don't have a 4.5, I only have 4 or 5, so it's gonna be on 5, so it's that simple. But here we have a 5, here we have the 7, and here we have the 8, yeah? With this yarn. So what I'll do, let's see, that we could try to see if that's by remotely visible. Do you really think I need to use the 7 or the 8 for this yarn? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not that fluffy. I don't think so. I think this is like, it's probably gonna be fine with a 5. Maybe even the 6, but the 6, then that might not go as well with the pattern, so I would have to read through the pattern. And it might be wise just to bring it with me to Denmark even though the parent isn't English. I could probably ask my mom for some advice. She is, on that note, actually also doing better. She's still not doing amazing. It is rough. Every 2 weeks she gets her chemo treatment. And the first 4 to 6 days after the treatment, she's pretty wrecked, which is logic. And then she needs to strengthen between. And we still talk, and I'm going home to help them out, to see how I can help them best. You know, she gets to tell me what she needs, and I'll do my best to help her based on that. That's just basically how it works. The last yarn I did have in that bag, and the first original idea was also just basically to make this probably two knit, two purl beanie, double stranded. I am debating if I should buy an extra skein in white. That's not decided, but that is these yarns. It's the Evie. You have the Evie colored and the solid, but I have been debating if I should buy a white one to match up with it as well, to kind of make it a little bit thicker, a little bit bulkier. But even though just double stranding these, that should make a hat, and that's pretty much it. But I am debating if I should get just one skein in white. It's tempting. It's tempting. It is 80% acrylic, 20% polyamide, so it's nice and soft. Here they recommend 4.5mm needles, which I'm a bit surprised about. So we will go for like a 6mm if we'll double strand them now. And if I get an extra, we'll probably do like an 8, which would be kind of nice with a bit chunkier one. So I am tempted just to get that single extra skein just for the funsies of it. So maybe if I can find one, I'll grab one and I'll do that. I'll be all right. That is not a project I'm gonna bring with me. It's just, it's on my thinking. You could tell me, description box down below, should I take an extra strand just to make it a little bit thicker, a bit chunkier, in white and add to this? Or should I just do a little bit in between and just only double strand these two? Let me know, description box down below. You have the opportunity to influence me right now. So please do, down below. That was pretty much it. I think we got everything covered. I am going to be live with you on Monday if everything goes right. Then I'm off to Denmark, and then I will be back in 2 weeks time with the next yarn talk video in this series. Here on out, I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Take care and happy crafting. Bye.